Welcome to today's Leadership Hacks. This is the second one I recorded today because we missed last week. The first one was about words, the power of words, and also that words are never neutral. The second one is about listening, the power of listening, and listening well. Listening and words go together. We need to listen before we speak, because many times if we're not listening well, we're going to speak wrongly. So we're going to talk about listening. I realize, I don't know about you, but I need to periodically remind myself that listening is not passive, it's active, that I periodically need to remind myself of good listening skills. And also I need to continue to sharpen my listening skills by learning more about listening. I want to begin with a quote from Woodrow Wilson. He said this: "The ear of the listener must ring with the voices of the people." The ear of the listener must ring with the voices of the people. That means we should be taking in and listening to our people, not just speaking at them, not just directing them, not just teaching them or sharing with them, but listen to them. Listen so that we might understand. So we need to be good listeners. So we need to remind ourselves to be active and engaged listeners, not just passive, but listening to understand, listening to be able to sympathize, listening to be able to direct or help or suggest. And so the second point is that ask questions that promote discovery. I remember a conversation years and years ago with a staff member as she was sharing about her ministry. And I had been working hard to be a good listener, and like all of us as leaders, we equip ourselves. And I thought I was doing a really good job. I would respond to her by saying things like, "Oh, I understand, I hear you, those type of things to let her know I was listening to her. And when she stopped, I began to share how I hear her and to speak and encourage her in her ministry and what she's doing so well and all those things. But she said, "I don't feel you were listening to me." And it just kind of shocked me because I thought I was doing really well. But I didn't give enough of the discovery questions. I wasn't listening in a way to hear some things that needed more information, that needed to dig into a little more in depth. And so I didn't ask those discovery questions that would not only have shown her that I was listening, but it would have gave me better insight to be able to respond. So we need to listen to understand. We need to listen and then ask as we're listening that discovery questions to find out more of where they're at, to find out more of what's going on so that we could more accurately respond to what we're talking about, what the challenge or the struggle is. So we need to listen more. Good listening involves active listening in addition to discovery questions. This shows that we understand. So let's have more discovery questions. 3, making suggestions show that we listened well enough to offer accurate suggestions or action. So we need to make suggestions at the end of it. If there's a direction that needs to be taken, make some suggestions in that direction. If there's a decision that needs to be made, help make a suggestion in that direction and make suggestions for action. Suggestions for inaction, even if that's what is involved. But let's offer suggestions. That's offering a way forward for them and offering a choice that they can make to better their situation or to be more effective in whatever the situation is that we're learning about from them. So let's make suggestions that can understand that we're listening well for them. 4th, always seek to understand before we try to fix it or solve it. Always seek to understand before we want to fix it or solve it. Sometimes we start to the fix when we don't really fully understand the problem. So let's wait until that we understand fully what it's going to take to fix it or resolve it. Mark Twain said this: "Wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would rather have talked." Wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would have rather talked. See, we need to talk less at times. That gives us wisdom, because as we listen more, we gain more wisdom, which helps us to help others better. Lastly, number 5, remember, and we all know this, 80% of communication is body language. So watch how your body language is going on. Watch if you're slouched back, maybe that's showing them that you're really not engaged. You really want to get over this. Or if you're sitting way in their face, that you're looking like you might want to give them an answer before they're asking for it. But watch your body language and watch their body language. Their body language will tell you a lot of how tense they are, or how maybe frustrated or hurt or sad. Watch the body language. Becoming a great listener will unify and solve many of our leadership problems. It will. Becoming a better listener will solve many of our leadership problems. Let's remind ourselves that all of us need others to listen to us, and the others need us to listen to them. Let's remind ourselves of those things. Remind ourselves that listening shows that we are engaged, that active listening shows that we understand. Active listening is about showing compassion and interest, where we ask the discovery questions and that we also show them that we value them. Let me end today's leadership hack with this quote from Henry Nouwen. Somewhere we know that without silence, words lose their meaning, that without listening, speaking no longer heals, that without distance, closeness cannot cure. Let me say that again. Somewhere we know that without silence, words lose their meaning, that without listening, speaking no longer heals, that without distance, closeness cannot cure. Let us continue to just grow in our listening skills so that we might bless others. Lord bless you today.